What's going on, everybody? Jacob here at the Nutrition Store, and we've got a new friend to introduce to you today from none other than FlashPoint Performance Physical Therapy. Welcome, Dr. Matt.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. So, we were talking briefly before this about how I normally do like my podcast interviews. They're usually lengthy, long, drawn out.
Right.
This time we're going to add in a little fun twist.
Yeah.
But really quick, I would love to know, and I'm sure the people would love to know, a little bit about you. Where are you from? What got you into PT? And how'd you end up right here?
Absolutely. So, like you said, Dr. Matt Sullivan. So I'm from Bristol, Virginia originally. Came down here, we'll say 2 years ago with my wife. Mm-hmm. No reason. Just wanted to, find out what we wanted to do. Yeah. We wanted to be ourselves, kind of make our own life. We've kind of stuck. As far as PT goes, I played college baseball 4 years, played at Lenoir-Rhyne University, loved the body and movement. And that's honestly what got me into it. It's not the traditional, I got hurt and I had PT. That's not me. I just loved movement. And this is kind of the realm that I went down. Yeah. Kind of followed my path and here I am.
Lenoir-Rhyne, when did you go there?
So I was there from 2015 to 2018.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
You were there probably around the same time as my buddy Andrew, actually. He played for the football team. Okay. Andrew Bruce. Yeah.
I actually know the name. Do know the name.
He wasn't there long. Okay. I'll cut this out. But he was captain of the football team. He was, I think he was student body president first or second year. Ended up having an issue where he was defending this girl in a bar who was getting beat by her boyfriend. He hits the dude. They make an example of him and kick him out. Yeah. So
I actually thought I knew that name, but yes, I do know who you're talking about. Yeah. Unfortunately,
he ended up at Winthrop with me and became my best friend. So small world. I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
But that's awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how you came into PT. How'd you come across Matt Hannon?
So no real rhyme or reason. Kind of looking through some things, wanting to get more into the sport and performance realm. I love athletes. I love working with athletic people. You don't have to be an athlete. I don't care. If you want to get better and move better, that's kind of how I feel. Love it. And that's Matt. That's kind of what he's based everything he's done off of is how can we make you move better to do what you want to do, whether it's run, basketball, football, doesn't matter. Yeah. Movement is our key. If we make you move better, you're going to feel better. Yeah. And that's our job, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I know that you guys are operating out of Night Performance Factory.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Do you find a lot of synergy between sport performance coaching and what you guys do as physical therapists?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. Okay. Honestly, there can be some contention. Okay. We can kind of get into each other's realm. The big thing for us and the great thing with Night Performance is we've built that relationship to understand how we can work as a synergy, right?
Love it.
How we can help people, whether they're on the injured side, whether they're not. What can we do together that we're both making our money, that we're both getting what we need, but we're helping them in the end.
Love that.
It's relationships. Building trust with people, not just our clients, but with other individuals, other providers. That's how we get people better, and that's how we make them feel better.
That's great. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's actually a question that's been on my mind a good bit, because obviously sharing similar backgrounds, like usually most physical therapists get like an exercise science degree and have all the CSCS qualifications.
Right. Yeah.
And then they take that extra step. So I always was kind of wondering, if they work together with strength coaches or, how that works.
I think that good therapists and good strength coaches know how to work together.
Right.
Now, people can get their territories and they want to fight about things, but that doesn't do us any good.
No.
Right? Yeah. We've got to work together. We're both professionals. We both know how to help people. So let's do it. Let's put our heads together.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah,
and so speaking of working together.
Yep.
You're in a nutrition store.
That's right.
As a physical therapist.
That's right.
I was telling you a little bit before this how I've been kind of training my own little GPT. Everybody knows what ChatGPT is at this point.
Right.
We're going to see, based on what it knows about TNS and me, what it wants to ask you.
Okay.
And we're going to see how you answer.
Let's do it.
Hey, GPT, how are you today?
Hey, Jacob. What's up?
So I'm sitting here with a physical therapist, and I'd love if you could take everything you know about me and the nutrition store and come up with one question you'd like me to ask this physical therapist?
Sure thing. How about this? As a professional in health and fitness, I focused a lot on nutrition and exercise, but I'd love your perspective on how I can incorporate more physical therapy principles into my personal training routines and those of my customers at the nutrition store to optimize performance and recovery.
That's a great one.
That's a
and I've never thought of it. So
yeah.
I guess it is speaking from my perspective.
Right.
I might need to phrase the next question a little different, but what do you think?
So I think both of us can take principles from each other, link them into our understanding of how we treat people and get in a positive way. So I think from my background, looking at understanding how the body moves, right? You have the nutrition aspect of it. You know how the body works, what systems work and provide in different ways. So taking that and then looking at what your clients may be doing specifically, whether that's a runner, whether that's a power lifter, those are going to be different needs.
No doubt.
Right? So understanding those needs, and then let's fit that person for that. Right? So there's number one. Number two, and looking at you, I think you follow this one pretty well, but understanding what movements your body needs, what muscles you have to build. That's super important. And I think it's missed by a lot of people is we get really, really fine-tuned on one thing in therapy, right? That knee hurts and I'm going to focus on the knee. But that's not it. That's not everything.
They don't think about the entire chain.
No, not at all. And there's a whole body there that you need to look at.
Right.
Let's look at it, right? Let's look at nutritionally. Are we missing something that's not allowing, X, Y, and Z to happen, and that's why the knee hurts?
Yeah.
What's going on? So I think taking that broad spectrum, that big realm, and then fine tuning it, I think that's a big thing.
No doubt.
Coming from my world into yours.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree. I mean, that's similar to having, somebody who just can't gain weight no matter what they do. Right. We'll hit more and more calories. Yeah. We'll come to find out their thyroid is dysfunctional.
Exactly.
And they're having all these other issues that we didn't know existed. Yep. So it's looking at the entire system as a whole. Yeah. And, I find that a lot personally, like just talking to bodybuilders. Yeah. It's a very superficial endeavor. Yeah. Right. You want to make one specific muscle grow to look better. Right. But what about the connective tissue and the other little deep muscles that they're not thinking about strengthening? Absolutely. So that when they're out in the yard doing the lawn one day, those big biceps look great. But what about that QL when you're not thinking about it?
Yeah, those little small things. I mean, you miss them, but they're so important. Yeah. And those you just mentioned the connective tissues, and that's one big one for me is diet is so important to allow our tendons and ligaments to heal, to be nutritioned, to be able to function properly. And people miss that, right? You have to be nutritionally good. You have to be fulfilled in so many ways. And if you're not, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You can do all you want. Yeah. But if your body can't do it, your body can't do it.
Well, it's like trying to, fuel a Ferrari with the lowest octane.
That's right. It ain't going to work. It's not going to happen.
I mean, it might run, but it'll putt.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, that's a great answer. Yeah. We'll see if GPT has another question that we can come up with. So I'm still here with the physical therapist from FlashPoint Physical Therapy, and I was wondering if you could come up with another question based on your understanding of the nutrition store that we could ask him for this interview.
Absolutely. Here's another one. Given our focus on supplements backed by scientific research, how can we collaborate to educate our customers on the importance of integrating proper physical therapy techniques with nutrition for injury prevention and overall well-being?
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of goes into the same thing.
I was going to say, how can we inform our customers? Yeah. What we're doing right now.
Exactly. Talk. We've got to be together. We've got to let people understand who we are, where we come from.
Exactly. But, let's fire again. I got one. Okay, I got one more that I think you'll appreciate.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm still here interviewing the physical therapist. Let's try to stump him with a unique question that he might not know the answer to in the realm of physical therapy. What you got?
All right, let's challenge him a bit.
Uh-oh.
Can you explain the concept of mechanotransduction in physical therapy and how it influences tissue healing and remodeling? That should get him thinking.
I don't know on that one. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Okay, that question was a little bit too in-depth. You think we could tone it back just a little bit and ask another one?
Sure, let's dial it back. What role does fascia play in overall musculoskeletal health? And how can addressing fascial restrictions benefit someone's physical therapy outcomes?
That's a good topic.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know a lot about fascia, but I know the word gets brought up a lot in this realm.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So, very broad definition of fascia. So it's just a connective tissue, and it's kind of what leads muscles from a broad area into a more narrow one. Tendons and fascia can often go very closely. Fascia typically is looking at a broader space and not so small as, like your biceps tendon. That's not what we're talking about. Usually we're looking at bigger areas. So taking off that question, if your fascia and then subsequently the muscles around it aren't moving properly, if they can't move properly, then you are putting yourself at higher risk for injuries. It doesn't matter where it is. If you take the low back example, kind of like you're talking about, if you have fascial restrictions in the low back that aren't letting you move the way you need to, letting your hips move, letting your pelvis rotate the way it should, when you go to pick up whatever it is, it can be a little dog toy on the ground, you can get hurt. Right? And it's so small, and it seems so dumb, but it can happen. And trust me, we see it all the time. Right. All the time. So I think
how would we go about correcting that? Like, is there a therapy? Like, is that something where Graston actually plays a role?
Yeah. So I think it's really the whole thing, right? So the way we like to look at techniques are a guide to a location.
Gotcha.
So if you're going to go up Mount Everest, you're not just going to go blindly walking. You're going to prepare yourself. That's what things like Graston, dry needling, that's what those things can do. They can get our tissues settled down, elongated, whatever the case may be, to prepare for the movement.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if we're doing something and we're not moving after it, our body doesn't know what we're doing. It's like, oh yeah, cool, you did something, now I'm going to go back to what I was doing.
Right.
Okay? But if you move properly directly after that, your body says, oh, that's what I was supposed to do? Right. Yeah, let's do that more. Right. Yeah. And then you start seeing those long-term gains.
So it comes down to like motor patterning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It can't remember who said this, whether it might have been Ed Cohn or some other lifting philosopher, said it takes 10 reps to develop a bad movement pattern and 10,000 to break the bad movement pattern.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it seems so novel and so small that, if somebody's doing something incorrectly, they're like, I can fix this quick. I can fix it. I'll be okay. It's not that easy. Right. And understanding who you can go to help you with that is the key. Absolutely. That's just like nutrition. And that's where it comes in. Working together is so important. If you think you understand your diet, you probably don't as well as you think. Right. And if you're not doing the things that are truly going to help you, you're never going to see the gains that you want to see.
It's true.
Ever. Just like you're saying, if you're not fueling properly, that Ferrari ain't going very far. And if it goes somewhere, it's not going fast.
That's a great point. Yeah. No. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in to do this. It's been fun. It's been unique.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to let GPT kind of send us off.
Okay.
A big thank you to Dr. Matt Sullivan from FlashPoint Physical Therapy for the interview. And it's awesome to offer that 10% discount to FlashPoint patients at TNS.
Thank you, Dr. Matt.
Absolutely. Thank you.